Guys, deluded. I'm back again. Germany nil, South Korea 2. We've had many shocks this World Cup, but we've seen our first real shock in a big nation's gone out. So let's get into it. Now, it comes as a shock, but it doesn't come as a shock to all of you guys, I'm sure, because you saw my vid in regards to the preview where I said if you look on the surface, yeah, Germany can win the World Cup and get to the latter stages. They got world-class players, they won it before, etc. But when you looked at the team, pardon me, people, it's a sunny day, apologies, but when you look beneath the hood and you saw their results against Austria, they drew against Saudi Arabia, but it took a late goal, and I believe someone in that game from Germany actually cleared an effort off the line or they would have lost that. It's been nervy. Now, obviously, being world champions, there's going to be a lot of media pressure because they are world champions. They've got quality players. They won the Confeds Cup. So, yeah, there's a lot of pressure. And it's in the sense that you look at England, you look at France, you look at many other countries. They ain't really got the stability that maybe with Southgate, England now have. But they didn't really have this well, France do, but with Deschamps been there for 6 years. In the sense that Lowe is going to be there for a number of years. He's been there. He's been allowed to mark his authority, and quite rightly so. Prior to going out in the group stages, out of the 6 tournaments, including this, 5 before he's got to the semi-finals, you should have that. You saw how they had a whole crop of players from 08 to 09 in youth tournaments, and then 2010 they obviously didn't win the World Cup, but they showcased what they're on. A lot of them got moves to bigger clubs off the back of 010. 2014 they won it, of course, and yeah, unfortunately it wasn't meant to be. So the media pressure is a big thing for me. On top of what I've just said as well, you look at Ozil and Gundogan, the media pressure that got to them. There was talk about Muller. There was talk about togetherness in the camp. For what it's worth, on one hand, I do believe it's overstated how much problems internally are within that camp. But you can't deny, on the surface, yeah, you need to show togetherness when Hummels is out there saying Ozil should stay in the side, not Sane and these things. It is divided, clearly. You see it on the pitch, they're moaning at each other. You're seeing tensions. Tensions are rising, tensions are boiling. As well, ultimately, Jurgi Löw's paid the price for showing, and I don't think it's wrong. In hindsight, everyone's a genius in showing loyalty to some players whether it's been their club form that's been underwhelming, like Draxler, or players that were just there before. They've let him down, unfortunately, like Muller. I tipped him to be a wild card thought because he'd been crap at club level. He would turn it around at international level. Unfortunately, he didn't. Werner, a player who I rate very highly, it's just not happened for him. And on top of that, there's no balance in the side in the sense that I've already said Ozil. I do believe Ozil can keep playing because he can play. He can be deeper, but he hasn't had the tournament to remember. Kroos has been woeful as well to a degree. He's been all right, but by his own Toni Kroos standards, it ain't been Toni Kroos. Hummels and Boateng, to be nice, have just been nothing short of a train wreck. Khedira, you saw in the first game, he's not on it. So a lot of the old guard, and if I've missed you out, you're lucky. A lot of the old German guard are just, I don't want to say they've not got nothing to offer, but you look at them at club level, they are stagnating at club level, and they've transpired that for the national team because they're not pulling. They're meant to be experienced players. They're not pulling people through it. They're going more anonymous. I mean, Julian Brandt has come on, must have played 30 minutes in total out of the 2-3 games because of just getting 10 minutes. He's shown more than half of these attacking players. To be fair, man, like it's stale. The old players, you need to probably not move them on because you can't. I don't believe that all of them should be taken out the side, but maybe keep 1, 2 for to get continuity and voices in the squad and all them things. But the majority needs to be torn up because the older lot, they're not providing support to the younger ones. Is stale. There's no balance, and the younger ones, they're good players, but the World Cup, like you've seen with Guedes and Ismail Assar of Portugal and Senegal, this is a different ball game. This is a different level, and you look. Sometimes these young players look crap at World Cup because this is the highest level. Werner and Kimmich to a degree, Goretzka was woeful, but these sort of man, they'll be ready for 2020, but they've shown they're not quite. Maybe not. I don't want this to apply to Goretzka as much. I want you lot to focus on Werner and Kimmich specifically. Yeah, you can say Kimmich has played a lot of games for Bayern Munich and Werner's got experience now. But they're not quite there where they're going to take their chances, where they're going to affect the game, where they're going to be leading by example, like you've seen with the inconsistent crossing and defending from Kimmich, like you've seen with sitters that Werner's missing. Yeah, he got an assist against Sweden. So there's that. Toni Kroos, another one who should be definitely go to 2020. He hasn't had the best of game tournaments either. Not to dig him out. Don't just focus on the names I've listed because everybody got us there. Neuer's looked nervy as well, and in another day, the shot he flapped in the first half could have went in. Mainly for me, if I'm looking at them, the worst players would probably for me, and I don't want to say worst, but Hummels and Boateng, they didn't play well. Hummels played today. Boateng didn't, but they've been woeful. They've been woeful. Two Bayern Munich centre halves. How much experience between them? They were woeful. Ball playing, running up the field, getting caught high. All of these things. The attacking players haven't been good enough. So if you've got the young players that are not quite there yet to make the difference, and the older players who are not making the difference and not actually doing anything, it bounds for problems. There's no balance, specifically to the way they're playing. For me, it's a bit like Arsenal prior to Emery coming. I know he hasn't managed yet, but it's stale. They're going side to side. There's no options. There's no real runners in behind. No, everybody wants to come short and be a pretty little footballer. I'm not saying that if Sane came and went to the World Cup, they would have won stuff. People will run that, but let's not be stupid. Everyone's a genius in hindsight. And yeah, we could even say Sane would have made a difference, but would he have improved? Would he have made a difference over these 3 games where you can poke several mistakes made by several German players? No. So yeah, there's no real pace in behind. They're not even just pace. Nobody's running in behind just to take an opposition player out of the game because he has to follow you. If it's all neat and pretty, you've seen it. For not just Germany, small teams have remained very compact and very rigid and been difficult to break down throughout this World Cup. Much less a side that's not informed. So something needs to switch. Ultimately, again, I need to say he's paid the price for relying on players that aren't good enough. Draxler's club form, not to dig out any. I don't want to dig out individual players because at the end of the day, they got them. Every person that's been part of the majority of the qualifying and all the good times, they have to take the rough with the smooth. I don't want to just dig out players. In fact, I don't even want to just attribute it to Jurgen Low, even though he's the manager and it falls on his head. But you get where I'm going, people. At the end of the day, you look at the table, you see South Korea, you see Sweden, no disrespect, and what's the other nation you see? South Korea, Sweden, and I can't even, at this moment in time, I can't even, the team's gone from my head, people, whoever was in Germany, the 4th team in Germany's group. Either way, for Germany to be rock bottom, I believe, that's poor. Like what? They played, wait. I'm like, yeah, it's 4 teams. They played 3 games. They won 1. They looked woeful. They won 1. They had 2 defeats and a draw, I believe. Forgive me from no, they can't have had that. We didn't play 4 teams. They had 2 defeats and a win. I'm so sure. Forgive me if I'm wrong. Yeah, the defeat against, that's it, Mexico. All right, fair enough. Just in the lead up to it, it should have been a thing where, cool, this is a shock defeat. This does not happen again, people. And then you saw, and then you've seen what's now happened. All right, cool. They beat Sweden. It went to the death again. Lack of fluidity, missing chances, not taking chances. Everything shown today. Going against South Korea, you need to win the game to confirm. Going into it, it looked like you was through, but to win it, you made a Low made some changes, and to be honest, they were ineffective. A lot of them could have seized their chance today, and they were behaving like it's a pre-season game. The way and the tempo I saw from Germany is that a team that assumes they're through, or assumes they've won 2 out of their 3 games and are going through, and this is a dead rubber. It's ridiculous. Ozil created about 7 chances today, and he'll no doubt, him and Kroos will probably bear the brunt of it for being the star players, but nobody was good. Like, nobody's been good this tournament. The one player that I'll probably say from Germany has been good, he's hardly started and he's hardly played any minutes, and that's Julian Brandt. Purely because when he's come off the bench, he's hit the post, he's put a good cross in, he's done a little thing, and he's someone I like highly, man. So, yeah, man. Obviously, I think Lowe should keep his job, man, because, again, you could say he'd probably need to go maybe someone with new ideas and all that jazz, but he's got stability per se, again, excluding the problems for one set. He's got them to 5 semi-finals out of 6. He's won them the World Cup. For me, he at least deserves the next 18 months to 2 years for the Euros. I know that's a long time of things, and he did sign a new deal, so maybe they've had to have considered that this World Cup would go, pardon my language, tits up for them. I don't know. All I know is it's the first time they've gone out the group stages since 1936. All I know is I see Mexico first. Well, no, Mexico are not first now, I believe. All I know is I see, in no particular order, I see Mexico, Sweden, South Korea and Germany. Like, in fact, Germany might not even be last, but they might as well be because it's irrelevant. I see 3 nations, no disrespect to either of the 3 nations, that Germany should be winning. If anything, it should have just been the shock defeat against Mexico and you go again, similar to Spain when they won the World Cup. But there's nothing more to be said on this front, man, people. For me, no balance. The main points for me, there's no balance, no fluidity, and no balance in the playing style, no balance between the young and the old. There's no bridge. The media pressure got to them, and just complacency, it has to be. I don't think they were going in it expecting to win and thinking they're better than them, because I don't believe that's a German thing. They're always on job and things like that. But because of what's happened and the manner of the defeats and the tone they've been playing at and all of these things I've seen with my eyes, I have to say complacency has to have played some sort of part, whether it's the coaching stuff, whether it's the management, whether it's the players, whether it's technical stuff. Something's bound to have happened. It's probably the end for the likes of Muller and Boateng, and I'd be surprised if Boateng isn't the first player to announce his international retirement in the next few days or whatever. But guys, deluded, I'm out. South Korea, fantastic result, means nothing at the end of the day, but well done. 2-0, obviously 2-0. Germany lost, commiserations, and yeah, deluded, I'm out. Deluded, I'm out.